Greetings, folks. AnIolairGhorm here with a replay from Lynn Wilkie in the Tier 10 Soviet destroyer, the Khabarovsk. Lynn is divisioned up with AngryAce in the Missouri and myself in the Hindenburg. We are in a domination match here on Two Brothers, and we're heading out to the Delta capture point to help try to take that point and defend it. Let's take a look at the team rosters and Lynn's ship build and commander skills. So each team brings 5 battleships, 3 cruisers, and 4 destroyers to the match. New matchmaking has allowed us to get even counts of ship classes and tiers on both sides. One of the opposing destroyers is Griffin GF, who is an active World of Warships Facebook commentator and has his own channel, so shout out to him. He's in the opposing kid. And taking a look at the ship build and commander skills, pretty typical build for a Khabarovsk, but Lynn has made a couple of interesting choices. First, in slot 5, he takes the concealment module. Instead of steering gears modification 3, Lynn finds that he is comfortable with the steering capabilities with just steering gears modification 2 and having slightly better concealment. And then secondly, Lynn in his commander skills takes a somewhat controversial choice of IFHE, the inertial fuse high explosive choice. He has found that has benefited him in terms of damage potential and with the skill than previously. So Lynn is detected at this point. He knows that there's at least one opposing destroyer. Well, obviously there is, because the cap is being contested, but Lynn is going to start putting fire on the opposing Kronstadt here. So Lynn's going to do the pretty typical play from range and constantly shoot your guns and go really fast. Sort of modus operandi for the Khabarovsk. I am trying to work from range on some of the larger capital ships because there are some pretty big guns out there, and we can see a few of them on this side already, and I don't want to be the focus. In fact, fairly early on, while I was in the Hindenburg, I found that I was targeted pretty quickly whenever I would fire my guns and become detected. I would be the focus of the battleships pretty quickly. So we have a Yu Yang and a Kid. So Griffin GF and the Kid on the opposing team are both at Delta. We have an allied Akatsuki that was in the cap at Delta, but decided to leave the cap for the time being. Our team, the Benson on our team, has taken out the opposing Bismarck at the Alpha point, and but we don't see too much else at Alpha. We're going to realize here fairly quickly that the vast majority of the opposing team have come to Delta. So again, Lynn just is looking for targets of opportunity, doing sort of this traditional just shoot your guns all the time from range, and use your speed to make it impossible for the opposing teams to hit you. Unfortunately, we lose our Akizuki to torpedoes from Griffin GF and the Kid. So we are down 1 destroyer, and we can see a few battleships here from range, but not too much. Looks like the opposing Alabama has pulled a Notzer. Yeah, so one of the things that we're struggling with a little bit here on in our team is that we have overwhelming presence at Alpha for a single opposing destroyer that we have now taken out, but nearly half of our team's remaining firepower is at a cap where they are unable to put any effective fire on any opposing ships. And you'll see that we're going to ping the map here fairly soon to ask some of them to at least either turn around or push forward so that we can get their gun power into the game. In fact, there's the ping right there. All right, now you'll notice that myself, I'm at Gulf 9. I'm trying to get an angle so I can put some effective fire on the destroyers in Delta as well as some of the battleships. We lose our Richelieu to torpedoes from the opposing Yuyang. But I am going to realize here fairly quickly, I'm not intentionally, but I am overextended in the Hindenburg. The Bismarck on our team is now located at India 8, or I'm sorry, yeah, India 8. So he's behind that island, so he can't draw any fire. Ace is having to pull back because we've lost him. I've made the mistake of being forward too much, and then I am not going to be able to get out of concealment because the destroyers, the kid, and so on will keep me detected even if I were to sort of silence my guns. In fact, you can see there's some of the fire coming in from the opposing Missouri onto myself. I know Lynn does not carry smoke, so he can't smoke me up so that I can get into concealment and retreat. And there'll be you'll see me here in a moment. We'll be taken out here just very shortly. All that gunfire that you see sailing over Lynn's head here is focus fire on me, and so I'm going to go down here in a moment. Yeah, but I think I'm just trying to do the bow on sort of backup tank thing, just try to minimize the damage, but it's not going to be with that much firepower and ships shooting at me. It's just there's no way I can get out of this. In fact, here I think I'm in an act of desperation. I'm trying to get turned around here, but it's simply too, yeah, there I am. In fact, it's simply too late. I'm going to get down here in a moment. So I go down. We have a destroyer. Actually, we have two destroyers in Bravo attempting to take that. There is an opposing Des Moines that's north of the Bravo cap. Presumably he's able to put some radar and fire into the cap. The opposing Yuyang went back to Bravo in an attempt to help defend that cap and to potentially take out at least one of those destroyers. Now we have at least two ships. You'll notice that are on the north side of the Charlie cap that are going to move north through the channel, and you'll see a comment from me in chat asking why we are committing ships to the channel, because right now they're not able to put any fire on the opposing team that's moving towards us from Delta. So our Benson in the Bravo cap goes down to gunfire from the Yuyang. The Montana is able to finish off the Yuyang. We still have a Z-52 in that cap, but there is but it looks like he's probably in smoke because we cannot see the Des Moines that was on the northern side. The Yuyang did send torpedoes into the channel and finished off the Buffalo that had gone into the channel. And so we have two Tier 10 ships, including a full health Montana, that are effectively unable to put any effective fire on, or any fire for that matter, effective or not, on the opposition here that is at Delta. So Lynn is continuing to sail around, trying to go as fast as Khabarovsk normally go. Continue to harass the opposing battleships that frankly have done a really good job staying tightly together and focusing their fire to take out opposition. When a destroyer shows up like Griffin, GF, and the Kid here, Lynn transfers his attention to the destroyers to try to get them out of the match as early as we can, or as quickly as we can. So in fact, here come some torpedoes from the other destroyer. remember what that was. I think it's a Shima. Yeah, it's a Shimakaze on the opposition that's trying to either send torpedoes on Lin or the Kronstadt. So our other Missouri is able to finish off Griffin, GF, and the Kid. So we've at least crawled back on the ship count a little bit. We do have a one-ship deficit at this point. Lin is having to continue tactically retreating, focusing on ships as we can. Again, the opposing team did a really pretty good job early on focusing their fire. AngryAce, our other divmate in the Missouri, was taken out. He succumbed to fires from the Kronstadt. Lin's up to almost 100k here. So individually, he's done well in terms of damage done. He hasn't taken too much damage in return. But he's going to try to finish off this Kronstadt. Since we do have a 2-ship deficit, we're also down by more than 200 points, even though we're even on the holding caps. And Lin gets his first kill of the game at nearly 210,000, or at 210,000. And then the Z-52 is able to take out the opposing Des Moines. Lin has now earned the Wither achievement by causing at least 60,000 in fires and flooding. So more than half of his damage so far has come from fires. The Allied Montana has finally pushed through to the Charlie cap, and he will now face, I believe, the Bismarck, or I don't recall what that ship was that went back to the Bravo cap to head off to Montana. Actually, I think it's a Buffalo. So again, the Shimakaze shows up here. Lin is trying to get that destroyer out of the game, since that obviously being able to limit the opposing team's eyes on our ships is important. Shimakaze does get away with some health into smoke. But you can see our positioning here is quite, relative to the opponents, is quite challenged. We are very spread out, and again, we do have a ship deficit, but we are very spread out, whereas the opposing team is doing a very good job staying together, focusing their fire as much as they can. Our Montana at Bravo is currently working on the Buffalo, which has turned back. Our second Missouri goes down to gunfire from the Yamato. So again, we're back down to a 2-ship deficit. Our point lead isn't quite as dire as it was. We are down by about 100 points, but now the opposing team has moved into the Charlie cap, and so we're not getting points from there. We have not secured the Bravo cap, so we basically are only getting points from one cap at this point. Lin is trying to finish off this Yamato. I think the Yamato earlier did try to take a salvo or two on Lin, but realized that it was probably a pretty fruitless exercise given how fast Lin is going. Trying to hit the Khabarovsk at range is usually a significant challenge. We did sink the Alabama that was moving into Charlie, the opposing Alabama, so that was good. So now we've preserved our hold on Charlie. In fact, you can see the Yamato is firing on the Kronstadt, which is behind Lin, even though he's farther from Lin than that. But it's more effective or more useful for the Yamato to shoot at the Kronstadt. It's an easier guaranteed hit. And Lin is able to take out the opposing Yamato and earns Arsonist in the process. So now he has 2 kills. He's up to 165,000. And we've now taken the lead. We've brought the ship count back even. We still have yet to secure Charlie. The Z-52 on our team, that was originally at Bravo, went back towards Charlie, and then has come back and then sailed back up again the central channel back to Bravo. to secure the cap. Now we know that Charlie's being taken, and at the rate it's being taken, the Shimakaze has moved into the Charlie cap. So there's the opposing Buffalo, which is in the Delta cap, but he's very wounded. And the Z-52 and the Montana are trying to chase him down. We have now successfully secured the Bravo cap. So our lead is now at almost 100 points. Here comes some torpedoes from the Shimakaze, whom we can't see, and he's rightfully trying to stay completely concealed. And our Kronstadt, which is behind Lynn here, is not at a range that he can use his radar to detect the Shimakaze at this point, I believe. So Lynn takes a couple of salvos from the Musashi and the Missouri, but he's able to heal up some of it. In fact, here comes another salvo from the Musashi. And he's going to take a little more chip damage there, probably over a pen or two. Our lead now is about 120 points. We're now taking Delta. I believe the Buffalo had escaped. Lynn now earns the High Caliber Award. And we're very close. We've now, in fact, the Buffalo goes down, and thanks to that, we are now much closer to winning. We're down to only needing to earn about another 40 points to win the game. And gets yet another fire on the Musashi. Musashi has obviously decided to stop firing on Lynn because he's already a target. But the opposing Missouri successfully finishes off the Kronstadt here. But as long as Lynn is able to stay alive, and he can't get into concealment at this point, he's just simply too close to the Musashi. Takes a fairly serious hit from the Musashi, but he also gets a couple of torpedoes on the Musashi. The Musashi is burning and flooding. Lynn finishes off the Musashi, and we win the match. So Lynn did a spectacular job to help secure a situation that could have been clearly a loss. He does more than 237,000 in damage, earns High Caliber, Confederate, Wither, and Arsonist. Came in top of the team for most XP done, and definitely well deserved. And so I'll leave up the screens for the rest of his game results. So I hope you enjoyed the replay. Very exciting game for us, and certainly for Lynn. Thanks for watching. Happy sailing, and we'll see you out there.